Searching for a fun and unique fancy fold card? Well, you've come to the right place. Hi, everybody. I'm Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Today, I've got a really fun little circle pop up card. You're going to love this. Flip it up, flip it down. We've got plenty of room to write our message, and what a unique card to send to a friend. And this card fits into one of our medium size A2 envelopes, so you're easily going to be able to mail this card as well. I am very excited to teach you how to create this card, so let's head over to my stamping table and get creative. If you guys have followed me for any length of time, you know I love to create fun folds. And I think this is a really fun and unique fold. I can guarantee the recipient is going to love it as well. Hey, today's card, we're going to be featuring the All Things Fabulous stamp set. Guys, this is found on page 121 of the annual catalog. But did you know it actually has matching dies as well? But guess what? We're not going to use the dies today, so let's say goodbye to those. We're going to focus on the All Things Fabulous stamp set because it is just that. It is fabulous. I think you can see here, look at the detail in those flowers, and I'm very excited to work with this stamp set. Let's go ahead and go over the supplies you need, and you're going to love this. It doesn't take a lot. I have a piece of Rococo Rose cardstock. This is cut 4¼ by 10½. And I have it scored at 2 inches and 6¼ inches. And then I have a piece of Whisper White, and this is cut 4 inches by 5¾ I also have a 2-inch circle punch. And we're also going to bring in some mint macaron, and that is a 2¼ inch circle punch. So those are going to layer inside each other. Now, I did use my circle punches to create the circles themselves, but remember, you can always come in with your dies as well. Oh, and I almost forgot one. You're going to need another piece of Whisper White that is 4x4. That is for the inside of your card. One last thing, and that is some of the Rococo Rose scallop trim. We're going to cut about 4½ inches off, and then we're also going to tie a knot. You know what? Since I've got this here, let me go ahead and show you my trick that we're going to do for tying the knot in this. It's a reversible ribbon, and I want the Rococo Rose side to show up on both. So if I were to tie it, you see, one side wants to go to the opposite. So before you give it that final tie, just give it a twist so that when you pull and you tug, now it's reversible on both sides. And we're simply going to cut this down into a nice little knot faux bow, if you will, for our card. Let's go ahead and do our stamping. I have 3 ink pads today, Rococo Rose, mint macaron, and soft suede. So let's go ahead and start with the Rococo Rose. And let me bring the stamp set back in. You see there are some different flowers. I'm going to use this top one here. We're going to use this stamp and this stamp. This is a 3rd layer, but we're actually not going to use that one today. So we're just going to go with this flower here. Now, I need this to be two-toned. So I'm going to stamp off once and then stamp on to my cardstock. Stamp off, stamp onto my cardstock. Now, as I do this, I want to kind of keep the flowers somewhat close together, okay? Just don't let them get too far apart, or the card can look a little sparse, a little too much white going on. So we're just going to keep adding our flowers. So if you will give me just a second, I'm going to keep adding all of the centers to my flowers. Hey, while I do this, if you have not subscribed to my channel and you love to create fabulous cards, I hope you'll take a minute to do that. It's a great little channel. We have a lot of fun around here. You can just click that great big red subscribe button and get subscribed. All right, we have the Rococo Rose is all done. But you know what? Actually, I shouldn't say I'm done. We're going to add a little bit more right here, and this is on this circle punch. And so let me take this, and we're going to stamp it about right there, just like I did before. Remember, I stamped off. Let's do that again now with the inside. So we have our pretty inside of our flower. All right, now we're going to go ahead and do the inside of the card. Again, you've seen me do the technique, and I'm going to add a few flowers here on the left side, just like you've seen me do. Boom, boom, and boom. All right. I believe, unless something changes on me, I think we're done with our Rococo Rose. So now we're going to come in with the mint macaron. This is going to give us a nice, beautiful splash of color. You can use whichever of the leaf stamps that you'd like. There's several in there. And I'm just going to fill in kind of, whoops, glad I'm not having to flip that one over, right? So far, though, I'm doing pretty good. So there's some mint macaron on that. Let's go ahead and do that right here to our circle. And for this great big piece, we're going to do this same thing. Now, this one, of course, will take me a little bit longer. So we're going to just fill in anywhere that you just kind of see a little white space that needs a little love. We're going to add leaves there. And we'll be doing a little bit more to these leaves here in just 1 second. So don't worry if you feel like, oh, I still have a little bit of white space, because we're going to actually do a little bit more filling in, and we will be doing that with the soft suede here in just 1 second. So let me go ahead and finish up. Oh, you know what? I think I'm pretty good, actually. So I think we are going to call that one done. So now with our soft suede, I wanted to bring in, I don't know if you can see it there. It's a little tiny leaf guy. And I'm going to come in between every leaf. Can you see? It just kind of gives it a really nice softness. And then after I get in between all my leaves, and I'll come back in here in just a second and do that. Now we're just going to take this and we're going to just start filling in any of these little white spaces that you guys see here. And, you know, just kind of give them a little extra love. It also gives it a nice little pop of a different color. And you can see I went ahead and added that to the other two pieces. Now, since I've got my early espresso out, let's go ahead and get our sentiments. In this stamp set, I have the sentiment, "I'm here for you." And we're going to add that right here on our circle. That's for the front of our card. Now, this is for the inside of the card. And my sentiment is "wishing you all things fabulous." And we'll stamp that right there for the inside of the card. All right, time to put the card together. That's really all the stamping we needed to do. All right, it's time to put our card together. So you're going to take that stamped piece of cardstock and you're going to cut it down to 1 3/4 by 4 inch. I went ahead and did that for you. Now let's go ahead and bring in our card base. And we're going to give the two edges here, the two score lines, a fold. And one thing I want you to be aware of is when you fold this, you might get a little buckle in there, but I do want you to fold this over. And if you do get a buckle, don't worry about it. It can happen. We're just going to take our bone folder. We're going to crease that right out of there. All right, let's take our 1 3/4 inch by 4 inch. We're going to add that to this panel. And I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal. We can add that right here. You see it's just going to center up on all sides. Now let's do our fabulous punch. So as I said, I'm going to use the 2 1/4 inch circle punch for this. And let me show you something. So on this card, I put my sentiment on the left side. Let's say you want it on the right side. Do you know what? Either side is right. So for this card, we're going to go ahead and do it here on the right side. I'm going to slide this into the punch as far as it will go. And do you see that line going right down the middle? We're going to use that and we're going to eyeball. No reason to get it perfectly straight, but I'm just going to eyeball it and do my very best. Give that a punch, and we're going to be going through the 2 layers. So you can see we punched a little bit of our stamped layer, but now you can see we've got that just right. And I want you to see, I didn't get it straight. I didn't get it perfect. Don't worry about it. It's not going to make a difference. So we're going to flip this up. And now you can see this is where our now 4 by 4 piece of cardstock, stamped cardstock. Let's go ahead and adhere that down. If you love fun folds, and I hope you do, would you give me a thumbs up on YouTube? I always appreciate those. Let's go ahead and add that. Our card is coming together nicely. Now here's that 4 1/2 inches of the scallop trim. In order to adhere that, I'm actually going to use my tear and tape. Let's place that, and by the way, I'm going to line it up right here on the edge of the stamped cardstock. It's not going to go all the way across, but we can just line it up to there, trim that down. Now, when we peel this away, I'm going to go ahead and line up one side right here on the edge. And now I can come along and cut that little bit of excess. See how pretty that looks? I love that. And of course, because we didn't try to roll it under, it's not bulky. So I kind of like that. All right, that mint macaron 2 1/4 inch circle is going to fit right inside here. So I'm actually just going to use that as a guide. I'm going to put my adhesive here. And now to adhere that down, I'm actually going to go ahead and open up the card so that I can line it up here. And that way, when my card closes, I'm okay. I need this to be able to flip over it. All right, so I don't want it to get too tight. So you're going to want to open up your card, and now I can put that circle right where it needs to go. All right, while I've got it open, how about we go ahead and add the inside of our card, and that's going to go right down here where the circle is. Let's bring in our sentiment, and I have put 4 Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of my sentiment, and it's going to go right there in the center. I'm here for you. And last but not least, that cute little bow, or that little faux bow that we made, I'm going to press that onto a mini glue dot and add that right here on the side of my card. Oh my gosh, it is so pretty. So remember I said I had my original here. I did it on the left-hand side. Here I did it on the right. I do want to go ahead and bring in one more card that I created. This one I did a little bit different. Instead of stamping, I used designer series paper. So the designer series paper, you're going to cut it the same size, 5 and forgive me, I said that wrong. The designer series paper will actually be cut 4 by 4 so that it fits the same way this does. And you look here, I did not use it up on the top, but I'm going to zoom in so you can see. Do you see I did a little embossing on the top of this one, and I thought that came out really pretty. Now this one, you might notice it's a little bit wider. Yep, I used my circle dies, my layering circle dies, and I gave myself a little bit of room. Yeah, I just did it a little bit different. And then the inside of my card, I don't know what I would do without you. And I put the thank you on both sides. So you notice it's there, and a few rhinestones as well, because rhinestones make everything pretty. Hey, you know what? This card needs a little bling. Now that I'm looking at it, I can't just leave that without anything. So let's go ahead and come in. This is what we do around here. You improvise after it's over. Let's add some of the adhesive back pearls. Oh, this is going to make it really pretty. I love the look of these pearls. And of course, what's not to love that they are adhesive back? That's pretty awesome. All right. Well, now I can officially say I'm happy with my card. It did need a little bit. And again, of course, there is our version done with designer series paper. So this one will go together really, really fast when you use that designer series paper to do most of the work. But can we all agree the hand stamped designer series paper created with that All Things Fabulous stamp set is definitely fabulous? I think so. Well, there we go, my friends, our 2 little circle pop-up cards. I hope that you enjoyed those. Such a great card, isn't it? I hope you're going to give this one a try. And remember, like I said, it fits into a medium-sized A2 envelope, so you're easily going to be able to send this card to a friend. And I'm telling you, what recipient is not going to love whop, whop, flip, flip? It's such a happy card. Thank you guys so much for being here. Have a fabulous day. I look forward to stamping with you guys again soon. Bye-bye.